What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I know I said this video was going to be rebuilding the drive shaft on the Evo Eclipse, but today we got to do some work on the daily. Alright guys, so this is my 2003 Mitsubishi Eclipse GTS. It's the 3.0 liter V6, it's 5-speed manual. I just want to give you a quick little backstory on this car because I don't think I've actually told you guys anything about it. So I got this car for $250. You heard right, $250. And you're probably like, how did you get it so cheap and it looks that good? Well, here's why. The lady that owned it before me, she had it, I think she was the second owner, and before her it was her grandmother who bought it brand new. So you know, it's never been raced or beat on or modified at all, completely bone stock. Well, it developed a really bad knock in it, and she thought the engine was blown, and so she was just trying to get rid of it. She was actually going to give it to a junkyard, and they offered her $200 for it, and so I gave her $250 for it. And when I first started it, it knocked like crazy. It was so bad. I was 100% positive that the like they had snapped a rod or something. Like it was just done. I knew I was going to be pulling this motor and doing a complete rebuild on it. But the body is so good and the interior is perfect. I was like, I can't let that car go to the junkyard. It's a really good car. So like, I'm just going to rebuild the motor and have a nice daily. So I got it home. First thing I did was jack it up. I took the oil pan off to look up in there to see which rod was broken. None of them were broken. Like, okay, well, so I was like, okay, maybe, you know, maybe a valve, you know, fell into the cylinder and the pistons are knocking on it or something. So I took the valve covers off, looked at the tops of all the valves. Everything was there. It's like, okay, well, maybe there's a bent valve in there and the piston's just tapping on it when it comes up. But it was a really bad, loud knocking. So I took the heads off. Everything was perfect. I was like, what is going on here? And so I just started taking everything off, and then I noticed the passenger side motor mount had no rubber left in it at all. It was just metal on metal. I was like, okay, well, maybe that was the sound. You know, I was like, I don't know, it can't be that simple. Nothing's ever that simple for me. Kept taking more stuff off, got to the other 3 motor mounts, all of them exactly the same. No rubber left in them, just metal on metal. So what I'm thinking was all that knocking was the engine just bouncing around in there making all that noise. So, but I had figured I already had the engine pretty much completely taken apart. Might as well rebuild it with all new parts and make everything fresh, so I knew it was a good running engine. So that's what I did. I completely rebuilt the motor, you know, all new gaskets, all new seals, piston rings, rod bearings, just new valves, new springs. I mean, I got new everything. Put it all together, put new motor mounts on it, started right up, runs like a dream, super smooth. You can hardly tell it's even running. But I've been having some issues. When I'm cold starting, it takes 3, 4, 5 tries before it'll start up, and then after it starts up, it runs perfectly good. But then after I drive for a while and it warms up, I stop, like go to a store or something, stop, turn it off. When I get back in, start it back up, the RPMs just bounce around for like, I don't know, a good 5 minutes before they settle down, and then it runs perfect. So a couple little things I got to figure out. As far as having a hard time starting, I'm in my mind, I'm thinking it's a fuel issue, because I put brand new iridium spark plugs in it, brand new spark plug wires, a new cap and rotor on the distributor. You know, it's got a new air filter. I got a new fuel pump in it. Not the fuel pump, the fuel filter. Got a new fuel filter in it. Put a new fuel pressure regulator in it. I don't know, so much stuff. But the only things I didn't touch were the fuel pump and the fuel injectors. So now I'm kind of wondering if it's the fuel pump is on its last leg and it's barely pushing fuel, but then at the same time, once it started, it runs perfect. So I don't know. And then I also get a check engine code every once in a while for a random misfire. So for that, I'm thinking there's probably some fouled injectors, but it is so hard to get to the back 3 injectors on this engine that I don't want to deal with that. I'd rather eliminate everything else before going after that. Yeah, so today we are going to change out the fuel pump. So I'm going to be changing the fuel pump to just the Denso. It's like an OEM factory replacement pump. You know, and I got a new sock for it. So that's what we're going to be changing out to. Now the first step in changing out this pump is to get to it. And to remove the seats, because it's underneath the back seats, it's the same as the 2G. You got this plastic clips here. Just pull that, push the seat up. Then you got one on the other side as well. And then the bottom seat will come right out. Alright, now the fuel pump is going to be underneath this plate. You just got to disconnect this electrical right here, but then you got 4 Phillips screws on each corner. Alright, now with the plate loose, we can lift it up, but you've got 2 big old plugs right there. You need to disconnect before you can pull this plate all the way away from it. Now with those unplugged, you can pull this away. You got access to your fuel pump here. Now this one has the big ring on it that you have to unscrew. So I usually just wedge like a screwdriver or something up against here and then hammer on it to get it going. And then once it's loose, you can just unscrew it. But you gotta also disconnect these hoses. This one is a quick connect fitting, and so to remove that, you have to push these tabs in like that, and then it'll slide out. Alright, before you go taking these lines off, open up your gas cap, take it off, hopefully relieve a little bit of pressure there, but make sure you have a lot of rags or paper towels or something close by, because most likely it's still going to squirt out some gas there. So to take that ring off, I'm going to use this long extension. You don't want to use something sharp, because it'll just dig in the plastic and probably break one of those ribs off of there. So use something flat and dull, and then you just put it up against there like that, and then give her some wax and she'll break loose. Now that the hoses are disconnected, we got to take this plug off of here and get it out of the way. It's simple, it just slides off to the side. You have to give her a wiggle, it comes out. Now, the difficult part actually is getting this ring out, because this ring is basically the same size as this hole. So all of this stuff, these plugs, these hoses, everything needs to be tucked away in order to get it out of here. And it's stupid. They should have just made this hole a little bit bigger. So when you get this coming off, there is just enough room to cram this wire up against here, so you don't have to try and tuck the plug underneath there. But yeah, the hoses, you have to tuck back here, and the big one, the high pressure line, it doesn't want to go in there, so you actually have to hold it with one finger while you unscrew this cap. But once it's unscrewed, it just comes right out. Now before you go taking this pump out, I suggest getting a bin, because once you pull this up out of here, it's going to be leaking gas out of it like crazy. So you want something close by. When you pull this out, you can just stick it right in there. Now when you're lifting this up out of here, you need to be careful. You gotta kind of angle it out, work it, because you don't want to get the float caught up. Let's see, it's right down there, and it kind of angles over into the tank. So you gotta work this up out of here. Be careful not to get that float caught up. Hard to do this and film at the same time. Let's see, there's the float. And see why you need a bin? Alright, so, and that's the whole unit. So you got your sender and the pump. There. Oh, you can't see the pump from the outside. It's down in the middle. But something I wanted to show you guys, this whole side, see, like this half circle whole side here is the fuel filter. So if you're looking for a fuel filter, this thing's not going to balance. If you're looking for a fuel filter, this is where it is. I searched, I don't know how long on this car. I was looking everywhere trying to find the fuel filter, because usually it's either, you know, sitting in the engine bay, you know, in line of the fuel line, or it'll be underneath the car in the fuel line. Couldn't find it anywhere. Had to do a bunch of research and found out this whole side of the pump housing is the filter. Also, if you go online to try to buy a fuel filter, every place you go, they're going to want to sell you the whole unit. You don't have to buy the whole unit. This filter is replaceable. Although the only place I found it was at a Mitsubishi dealership. So that's something to think about. But you don't have to buy the whole unit, because I think the whole unit, everybody tries to sell for a little over $100. But the filter itself, you can get it for like 50, 60 bucks. So save you a little money there. So, alright, now we gotta start disassembling this thing. I gotta try to remember how it goes. I took this all apart once to change that fuel filter. And I believe it was it these clips here? Oh, it's these clips right here. There should be 3 of them. There's one there, right here. This float is driving me crazy. Another one right there. And I thought there was a 3rd one. Oh yeah, right in there. Undo those clips, and this whole top will come off. Alright, you're also going to want to disconnect these electrical plugs from up in there, and then this black hose stays with the top, and it disconnects here, and you just push this little pin down, push that pin down, and then it'll slide out the side, and that'll go off with the top. Alright, we got them separated. Here's the bottom part, and you know, everything just slides inside there, and then this just has the float on the side. So we don't need to mess with that no more. Get that out of here. So here's what you're left with. And you got a sock down there, and you can kind of see the fuel pump. It's encased down inside here, so we have to pop that that bottom off, but spin this around. Let's see here. This whole thing on the side, I need better lighting in here. What the heck? This whole side part right here is the filter. So, yeah. Filter is replaceable. You don't need the whole unit. So, alright, now to get this fuel pump out, it's just a clip here, and there should be, yeah, another one here on the back side, and then it'll slide out the bottom. Actually, if you pop this clip here and this one on the other side, this whole top will come off, and it'll make it a lot easier to handle this thing. And it just pop right off of there. What am I doing here? Pop off of there. And doing this all one-handed sucks. But yeah, it just slides off of there. So, oh jeez, I need to use both hands. Alright, we got that top piece off. So now we can get to the electrical plug on top of the pump here. And then slide that sucker out. Alright, now we got the pump out. So when you order a fuel pump or a fuel filter, it's gonna come as this one unit, because the filter material is inside of here. But it'll come as this one unit, and you have to put your own pump in it and stuff. But yeah, this is a brand new fuel filter, so shouldn't have any issues. Now before you go putting this new pump in, there's a couple of O-rings you need to change. There's one here. This is the bottom where the pump slides in. So one here, and then right down in there where the pump plugs in right there, there's another O-ring. Now this new Denso pump that I got, it came with a bag with the new O-rings and, you know, plugs, connectors, and all that stuff. Here's the part number to the pump I got. So, and I already compared the two, and they're exactly the same. So, yeah. So here's the top O-ring that was up here, and the bottom. Well, I guess this, you wouldn't really call this an O-ring. It's more like a little rubber grommet. That's the one that was down in there. The top one easily came out with just a little flat head. The bottom one, I had to take this long pick, go down in there, snag it, bring it up. So now we'll go ahead and change it out with this new grommet and the new O-ring. Alright, got the new O-ring up in there. And the easiest way to get the grommet down in there is to just stick it on the pump. You know, because the pump slides into it, if it'll focus, slides into it anyway. So if you just slide it on the pump here, why are you not focusing? Whatever. You just slide it, there you go, stupid thing. Just slide it on the pump and then push it in with the pump. So now we need to work on the electrical, and the easiest way is to actually de-pin the plug. As you can see, I got the wires pulled out of this plug, and then just stick them into that plug. You know, then you don't have to mess with anything. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can just cut the wires here, cut the wires there, put connectors on them, and you'll be all good. But this way, for me, is the easiest and the fastest. I just realized I was showing you that backwards. It's actually, you want to de-pin them from the black side, not the white side. The white side is what plugs into the housing. So you actually want to de-pin the black side, because that's the one that goes into the new pump. So basically the same thing, just de-pinning, or you can do the butt connectors, whatever you want to do. Now you only have to do all that if you have a universal pump with a different plug. This one I have is actually a plug-and-play plug for this car. So the plug that came on this Denso pump is the same that's on the factory wire, so you don't have to do any wiring. This plug will plug right into it, good to go. So if you get this same pump and you're working on this same car, just plug right in, good to go. But if you got a universal plug, a universal pump that has a different plug, then you'll have to deal with the wiring. But in my case, I'm good to go. Alright, new pump is in there, plugs in, ready to go. Don't forget to put this clip on the back side of the pump, because that's what holds it in there. Now we just put it all back together, reverse of what we just did. Alright, this is all back together, looking good. Now we just got to slide her back into this. Got that, stick her in there, and then she just clips back into those clips. And then we got to, reconnect that plug up there, slide this hose back in down there, and then we stick her back in the tank. Now when you're going back in the tank, again, be careful of the float. You got to angle this back in the way that it came out. So it's it's a lot easier when you got two hands, but slowly bring that sucker down in there. Angle her back straight, and then you want to get this back where it was. And there's actually marks, like you can see this arrow here. I don't know if I'll be able to. I'll have to get this down in there, and I'll show you. There's another mark back inside here. So I've been sitting here trying to get the camera to show the little mark down in there, but it will not show up. I've been trying flashlights, everything. I can't get it to show up on the camera. But basically, I mean, if you look at the arrow, it's pretty much 90 degrees straight to the middle between those two spots. I almost forgot to mention, underneath this cap, there's this big rubber O-ring. You want to make sure that's down in there and sitting flat against the tank so that it can be sandwiched between the tank and the top of this housing when you screw this down, so you get a nice seal. So make sure that's in there, flat against the tank, so you don't get any vapor fumes in your car. Alright, everything's back in, hooked up, good to go. Now we just gotta flip this cover back over here, plug in those plugs, screw it down, put this back seat in, and that's a job well done. Alright, got it cleaned up, rear seat's back in. Let's give it a try, see if it made any difference at all. I'm sure it won't start the first try because we relieve the fuel pressure from the lines, but I'll prime it a couple of times. Hopefully I don't have the stereo going. This car actually didn't come with a stereo. I found this factory stereo at the junkyard, and I picked this one. There was a few. I picked this one because it had the tape deck. I thought it was cool to have a tape deck. It's got the 6-disc CD changer and the tape deck. I just thought that was cool. Ain't nobody gonna be breaking in here to steal a tape deck, but whatever. So we'll try priming it a few times first. We'll give her a shot. If it takes more than 3 tries, I know it didn't fix my issue. Not bad, that might have actually fixed my issue. Holy crap. It's never started that quick from cold. Look at that, she's got, how do I zoom in with this camera? I don't know if you guys noticed if the picture was getting any better, but I got a new camera. But look at that, 202,000 miles. Nice. Well, I'm surprised, guys. I wonder if that fixed my issue. It has never started that quick. Like, seriously, it takes 3, 4, 5 tries before it'll start. Yeah, it started right up. A little hesitation, but you know, I figured since we relieved the fuel pressure out of the lines, it would take a little bit, you know, a little while to start. But I was not expecting it to start that quick. Wow, I'm shocked. The next test will be to see if I drive it around for a while, let it warm up, turn it off, let it sit for a couple minutes, then try starting it again and see if I get that idle bouncing around issue. I'll probably still have that because I don't know what that is. That's something else I have to dig into, but man, I'm happy. You know, I don't know if you can hear the car. You can hear how smooth this thing runs after I rebuilt it. But yeah. Idling a little bit high right now just because it's cold. You know, she's dead cold. But nice. Well, I'm super happy. Ever since I've had this car, it never have started up that quick. So, job well done. So, I really just wanted to make this video to show you guys that I will be working on other cars. You know, I'm always working on friends' cars and family members' cars and stuff, so there will be other videos than just the Evo Eclipse. It's just that's the project right now that I'm really trying to focus on and be zoned in on, because otherwise I'll stop working on it. So, but there will be a lot of other cars being worked on this channel, not just the one car. So I'm not a you know, a one and done channel. There will be others. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it helped some of you out that are trying to do a fuel pump or a fuel filter replacement, because it was not easy for me to find information on these fuel pumps and these fuel filters. I kind of actually took a gamble and picked the fuel filter that Rock Auto recommended, because I searched everywhere to try to find out the exact part number to the pump, and everywhere I looked they wanted me to get the whole assembly with the pump, and I just wanted just the pump. So luckily Rock Auto came through with giving me the right pump. So hopefully that helps some of you guys out. So you can replace the pump or the fuel filter and not have to replace the entire housing and save you guys some money, help you guys out. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, you know, give it a thumbs up or a comment, let me know how I'm doing, if there's anything I can change to make these videos better for you guys. You know, I'm trying to invest in it. Like I bought a new computer, I bought a new camera. This is the Canon G7X Mark II, I think. Where's the Mark III? I think it's the Mark II. You know, I got new video editing software that I'm trying to figure out. So hopefully these videos will start getting a lot better for you guys. But I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't seen the previous video working on the Evo Eclipse, you can click the link up here to check out the next video, which should be rebuilding the drive shaft. I'll have that link up here. And if you're enjoying the videos, I hope you would consider subscribing by hitting that link there. I'll catch you guys on the next one.